Hi. Every year the Schmidts plant a garden, and typically this time of year we start some seeds inside, and seeds are amazing structures. You know, a little seed can produce so much, and I thought we could do something neat, and I'd show you how you save seeds from tomatoes to then plant to create your own tomato seedling. So this takes a few days, but I'll show you the first steps, and then we'll come back and show you what we do with it. So the first thing we're going to do is just slice the tomato. Now, if you're doing this at home, you should be doing it with parents' approval and parents watching over you. I don't want you guys using knives without parents' permission. And we have these seeds. Now, seeds for tomatoes, they're in sort of a gel-like substance. I'm not worried about the gel right now. That gel we're going to get rid of naturally. And there's benefits to doing it the way I'm going to show you. So there's little pockets in the tomato where you can grab these out. Now you could do this with cherry tomatoes. You can do it with any tomato you might have handy in the house. You can still use the tomato, chop it up and put it in a salad. But you see we have our tomato seeds, and it's got this gel-like stuff. It's hard to get that off. You can't just sort of rinse it away or whatever. But we also sort of have to make sure that the seeds are going to be healthy seeds. So what we do is we take some water and put it in with this gel situation. And we're going to leave this sit for about 3 days until we see little bubbles forming. What that tells us is that it's starting to ferment a little bit, and it's actually killing bad bacteria that might harm the seed. It's also going to show us which seeds are good ones to plant. So we're going to come back in a few days and see what this looks like. So I've had my tomato seeds just sitting for the past few days and in the pulp, and that does a few things. It helps the seeds separate from the pulp a little bit, and it also we can find out which ones are the good ones and the bad ones, because typically the good ones sink to the bottom and the ones that float on the top are ones that are probably not that good. They won't grow. So we have this, and what we have is a sieve here, and I'm going to put them in and sieve out the seeds from the pulp. I pour the seeds in, and I'm just going to wash out the pulp. So all I should have left is the seeds. Then all I'm going to do is take them, put them on a paper towel, and spread them out to dry. Let them dry for a day or so, and then we can plant them. Just let them sit someplace to dry. Okay, so now it's been a couple of days. I have my seeds, they're all dry. Today we're going to plant them. So what you're going to need today is a pencil, your seeds, and I have a container that held spinach. You can use any plastic container you have. It could be, you want something that has a lid, okay? So you want it with a lid. You need some dirt. Now, we had potting soil around, so we just filled it with potting soil. You could just use dirt from your yard if there's a spot where you can dig it up. Ideally, potting soil is the best if you have that available. It tends to be a little softer and a little easier for the seeds to sprout in, and they have a tendency to have other nutrients in here just to help the seed grow. But tomato seeds are pretty hardy things. They grow in just about everything. And you're going to need a little water. So now we're going to plant our seeds. I took the container and I filled it just over half full with dirt. And now I have to get my seeds out. Now our seeds, you remember, we put in the paper towel to dry. And the paper towel, it's sort of soaked up everything, so now they're sort of stuck to the paper. So typically what I do is I look for the biggest seeds, and we're going to plant about 8 to 10 seeds in our container. We have more than 8 to 10 seeds, but I look for the biggest ones, and those are the ones I want. Because whether it's true or not, I figure the bigger ones are more developed and they will grow a bigger, stronger plant. Okay, I have those loose. Now, what I do is I take a pencil and I'm going to poke holes in here, and I'm going to, I poke them about an inch down. Not too far. You don't want it all the way to the bottom, because then the plant won't grow through all that dirt. But you could just sort of about an inch down. And this I'm going to plant, actually I think I'm going to plant 12. Because this isn't where they're going to spend all their time growing. This is just where we're starting them. So once I have my holes, then I drop one in each hole. Just one. Now, the kind of tomato I used is what they call an heirloom tomato. An heirloom tomato is a tomato that it's the same kind of tomato seed that was used years and years and years ago. So you know, we don't want to use what's called a hybrid seed, which are ones that are made in the lab, because they may not sprout because of the way they make them in the science lab. Don't have time to go into how they make hybrids. Sometimes hybrids don't set fruit, and we want to make sure they're fruited. Now I just cover up those holes gently. I don't pack them down. And then I spray this. So my heirloom tomato, I got at Wegmans, and they have a section called heirloom tomatoes. So now I'm wetting this dirt, and this was real dry to start. You don't want to pour water on that gets and make this sopping wet, but you want enough moisture in there that the seeds will get nice and damp, so they have moisture. Now, with the lid on, it'll trap the moisture in, so we don't have to water it every day or even every week. This should be good. Now, we shouldn't have to water this until you see them actually sprouting. So now your seeds are all planted. And actually right now, for those seeds to germinate, to start to grow, to crack out of their seed, they don't need sunlight. They just need the moisture and they need the warmth. So as long as they're in a warm place, they're fine. Or you could just put them in a sunny, warm place. But if you put them in a place that's not sunny, once they start sprouting inside and you see little green leaves coming up, you want to make sure you put it in the sun. Okay? Now we're going to keep this lid on until those seeds sprout and the leaves start to hit the top of this. We won't have to water it because we already watered it, and the moisture will stay inside because we've trapped it inside with the lid. But once those leaves start pushing up at the top, we're going to remove the lid, and then you're going to have to keep an eye on it to make sure you water, because they will dry out. You don't want your seedlings to dry out. So if you try this, please send me pictures to my school account, schmidtd@victorschools.org. and I'll post them to my website, and we can see what other people grew. Maybe you decided to not grow tomatoes, maybe you decided to grow peppers, or maybe you decided to grow an avocado. Share whatever seeds you're starting in your house. Have fun.